Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is of course the live game preview ahead of our Premier League fixture against Newcastle United tomorrow at Goodison Park. A big opportunity for Carlo Ancelotti's Everton to get back to winning ways after a disappointing 1-1 draw against West Ham United last weekend. Obviously the lads have only had a couple of days rest since that game. We did fear that a couple of players would miss tomorrow's night's game due to injury as well. Obviously Carlo Ancelotti announced on Friday that Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin were to miss Saturday's game against West Ham, but he was hopeful that both players would be returning to the squad for Tuesday's game against Newcastle, specifically Richarlison. However, Carlo Ancelotti's had his pre-game press conference today and he has confirmed that both Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison will remain on the sidelines for tomorrow's game. He also confirmed that Alex Iwobi is coming on well in training, however he still won't be fit for tomorrow's game. So again, we're going into another Premier League game with another weekend addition to the squad. Obviously we were hopeful that Richarlison would be fit for tomorrow's game. He's not. We're having to come into it without Richarlison. I'll go through my predicted start 11 in just a second, and you'll see why I've added Anthony Gordon today. And like the title states, I think that Anthony Gordon deserves his first Premier League start. Now we've seen what he was like coming off the bench. He had the entire second half. I thought he really impressed against West Ham. He was getting the ball, he was using the ball well, he was using his ability, he was knocking it past players, he was winning fouls, he was getting back, he was doing the defensive work. And obviously come on for Bernardo, who had a quiet first half, a little bit like he had a quiet second half against Brighton the week before. However, personally I think, you know, when you're looking at the two players to play on the wings tomorrow, obviously Richarlison being out, so I would assume that Moise Kean will get another start, and hopefully, you know, more minutes for Moise Kean will do him, you know, a lot of good. Obviously the kid just needs to carry on playing now and carry on getting game time and carry on getting minutes. Pardon me. But in regards to the wingers, obviously, you know, I watched Theo Walcott on Saturday. I watched Bernard for 45 minutes, and okay, I wasn't really impressed with Bernard, but I think that was sort of a one-off spell. Bernard usually is very energetic. He's fast, he gets past players, he beats players, he's very skillful. However, I've just been not really impressed with Theo Walcott for, you know, a number of weeks now. I think, you know, when Carlo Ancelotti first come in and when, you know, Duncan Ferguson first took over as interim manager, you know, Theo started to hit the ground running and started to put in, you know, the type of performance that we come to expect from him. However, in the last couple of weeks, I think he's dropped the level again. His final ball has been really poor ever since the Merseyside derby, and it was the same on Saturday against West Ham United. And I don't see why Carlo Ancelotti shouldn't go with Anthony Gordon. Like I said, he really impressed for 45 minutes on Saturday. His fitness didn't seem to be an issue whatsoever. He seemed like he could run around for another, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour. And I think, you know, it'll give him a massive confidence boost if Carlo Ancelotti picks him in the starting 11 tomorrow. And it'll be really good for the lad, obviously coming up against the Newcastle side that are level on points with Everton, currently 12th in the Premier League on 29 points. We're 11th in the Premier League, so this is really a must win for Everton Football Club, especially if we want to be, you know, picking up points and creeping closer towards those European places come the end of the season. We need to be winning, you know, pretty much all of our games at Goodison Park, especially games against teams that are in and around us. Newcastle United, obviously, we played them a couple of weeks ago. Carlo Ancelotti's first away game in charge of Everton, beating them by 2-1. Dominic Calvert-Lewin getting the goals on that day, and a really good second goal as well. And hopefully Dom is, you know, as good as he was, you know, in that game as he is tomorrow night. You know, Carlo Ancelotti's been talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the pre-game press conference today. He spoke about how Gareth Southgate has been watching Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he's got a real good chance of being called up for the England national team for the upcoming European competition, especially obviously now that Harry Kane is being ruled out with an injury, and Marcus Rashford looks like he could be injured throughout it as well. So obviously it's really positive news for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Again, you know, that'll massively build his confidence when you've got a manager like Carlo Ancelotti who's coming out and saying, yeah, you know, you could be in contention of going to the Euros and you deserve it. You know, the performances have been really good for Dom. Another real good goal on Saturday as well. Another got a striker's instinct finish where he's assumed where the ball had been. He's got into the right position and he's put the ball into the back of the net. And, you know, again, like we said, another game on Tuesday where we need to go out there, we need to get the 3 points, we need to play football, and we need to make sure, you know, we do well when we've got the ball in our possession, because Newcastle are a team that will sort of sit back. Newcastle are a team that will allow us a lot of the ball. They'll allow us to run at them. They'll allow us to move forward. So we need to make sure that when we've got the ball, we're creating opportunities and we're doing, as much as we possibly can with the ball. And that's why, when we're looking at the attacking players to play tomorrow night, I think we need to be really, really careful as to who we pick, because in the opportunities, tomorrow night when we do get the ball and when we have got possession, we're going to need to make the most of it, because we've seen what Newcastle can do on the break. We've seen what they can do when they hit teams, obviously beating Chelsea in the last seconds at the weekend, hanging on for large parts of that game, Chelsea having large parts of the possession, but Newcastle only needing one opportunity in the last sort of 2 or 3 minutes, if that. One free kick, ball comes swinging in and a header. And if we know that Everton, if you were to pick out one goal that Everton were most vulnerable to conceding, it would be a free kick or a set piece into the box and somebody getting on the end of it. Point proven on Saturday, West Ham hadn't scored a goal from a header all season, and the commentator literally states that as the lad's about to swing a ball in, the lad swings a ball in, and lo and behold, he scored a goal from a header against Everton. It was pretty similar, Newcastle's goal against Chelsea at the weekend. So we need to make sure that we nullify that, and like I said, we need to make sure that when we've got the ball, given that we're more than likely going to have a lot of the ball, we're using it well. And that's why I put somebody like Anthony Gordon in there, because I think, like I said, it won't only be a massive confidence boost for Anthony Gordon, but he'll also know it's a massive opportunity, and he has to snatch the opportunity with both hands. He done really, really well when he come on against West Ham. Tough circumstances, obviously, coming on a half time in a game that was, wasn't the greatest in terms of quality. We didn't have an awful lot of the ball. We weren't using the ball well, so it wasn't the easiest time for Anthony Gordon to come on. He had to do a lot of defensive work. He had to do a lot of running around and throwing in tackles. But when he was getting forward and when he was allowed to move the ball forward, he done really, really well. So I think he'd be able to, have a lot of opportunities to do that tomorrow night. And I'd just rather him in there than somebody like Theo Walcott, who's proved over the last 2 or 3 weeks that, he's very, very good at beating a man. He's very, very good at taking the ball forward, bringing the ball forward. But, when it comes to this final ball or putting that cross in or getting that shot on target, he seems to panic a little bit. And like I said, I'm a little bit confused as to how a player of his experience and a player that's been in the game for as long as he has panics as much as he does. But he doesn't. I think if we've got somebody like Anthony Gordon on the wing who's got nothing really to fear, got nothing to lose, he's going to be trying his best, and hopefully he can make better of those type of situations than what Theo Walcott can. Let's get into the live comments. 1878 ST says, go ahead, Cam. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining as per usual. Chris says, hi mate, hope you're well. I'm not too bad, Chris. I hope you're doing well yourself. Logo says, Liverpool say Emre Can has asked permission to sign for us. Liverpool want to be involved in everything, don't they? I don't think he'll go through Liverpool. He's no longer their player. Chris says, my prediction, Everton 1, Newcastle 0. I hope so, Chris. Doswick says, yo Cam, I went to a job interview today and it went well. Good stuff, mate, good stuff. Hopefully you hear positive news out of that. Made up for you. Joel says, prediction, Cam, I think it'll be 1-0 Everton. I'm going to go for 3-1 Everton. I think, we'll struggle to, especially, Newcastle will pinpoint those type of opportunities where we are vulnerable in terms of balls coming into the box and set pieces coming into the box. They'll have looked at the goal against Newcastle and they've pretty much, married it up to the goal that they scored against Chelsea and put 2 and 2 together and said, listen, these are pretty much identical, only on other sides of the pitch. But I do think we'll have the better in Newcastle tomorrow. And like I said, it's all about us making the most of the ball that we, that we're going to have, and making the most of the possession that we're going to have. Creating the opportunities, and not just creating the opportunities but scoring, as well. Massive loss again, having Richarlison out. We all knew such a big loss it was in the West Ham United game. Watching that game, you could see how much we missed him in terms of his creativity, in terms of his prowess in front of goal. Obviously we're going to miss that again tomorrow night, so Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Moise Kean really need to be up for it tomorrow. Ollie says, bad hair day today, mate. Yeah, it is. I've been to get a tattoo, so I've literally had the hat on pretty much all day because it was absolutely freezing. And yeah, I've tried brushing it. I have attempted brushing it twice, 3 times, and then after that I just get bored. If you're enjoying this team, by the way, so far, please do hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe as well. We'll go through my predicted starting 11 in just a second. It's a bit harsh. Gaz says, smiley faces. 1878 SD says, Ken Wright on our building site tomorrow, looking around. I've done that. We're supposed to have Bramley-Moore Stadium. Other high lads in the office say it's been going for ages. Too sure. Jack says, Pickford, Dean, Sadibi, Mina, Holgate, Davis, Delph, Gordon, Bernard, DCL and Keane. yeah, decent team. I think it's the same one I've gone with, isn't it? MDZ says, greetings from Denmark. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining. Greetings to you too. Jack says, Everton 3-0. Alfie says, how do you think we will approach the game, Cam? I think, I think we need to approach it in a positive manner. Like I said, it's going to be difficult. Newcastle are a side that do genuinely give, the opposition the ball and will genuinely allow us to run at them and allow us to create opportunities. And we all know with Everton, we don't do well in those type of situations. Everton notoriously do a lot better when we're against the run of play, and when we've got a counter-attack and we've got to make the most of, the rare chances that we will have. We struggle to break down teams when they give us the ball and they just sit, 11 men behind it. We seen that with Burnley a couple of weeks ago, obviously getting a goal in the last 10 minutes against them to ultimately win that game, but we struggled in that game when a team sat back and sort of just let us have the entirety of the ball. So, I think we need to approach it in a positive manner. I think we need to approach it with the intent to get at Newcastle constantly throughout the game, to pressure them, to make sure that, we're running at the defenders. Like, no defender at any level of football, whether it be Premier League, Champions League, Championship, no defender likes a player who will run at them. And then that's why I think it could be vitally important that we see the likes of Anthony Gordon in the starting 11 tomorrow. We see the likes of Moise Kean, because, irregardless really of the experience that they've got or the fact that they mightn't be in the best form at the minute, in terms of Moise Kean's form, no defender will like a player that will run at them and cause them, trouble. And I think that's what those two players can give us tomorrow. Luke says, when Iwobi comes back, do you think he'll be out wide or in the midfield? In the midfield, I would assume. Wayne says, yes, Cam, still no players in except the kid to appease the massive. Yeah, looking less and less likely like we're going to make any sort of substantial transfer move this winter. Jack says Keane needs to improve himself. Wormy says, Cam lad, how's everybody doing? How you doing, mate? I'm not too bad myself. Dosbick says, I'm getting bolder by the day. Maybe I should go and consult Dr. Clinic's clinic from the billboards advertised at the Premier League games. Oh, listen, I wish I was going bald. I wish I was bald, mate, because I wouldn't have to mess about with this Barnett every day. Wayne says, hey Wayne, how you doing? Dude, 1870s is on our job tomorrow, mate. Honestly, all got briefed today. Watch it in the Echo being reported. I'll have a little look out for that one, definitely. Anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11 now. That's why we are here. So I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Nothing dissimilar to usual there. I think he had a really, really good, solid game against West Ham United. Made a couple of real good saves, specifically that one from the header where it's literally 5 yards out and he manages to tip it over the bar. I've seen a couple of people on Twitter and various other social media saying that maybe it's a little bit of a Hollywood save and maybe he could have caught it or maybe he could have palmed it a little bit easier. But, a lot of saves that goalkeepers will make in this day and age appear to be Hollywood saves. I still think it was a really, really good save, and you've got to give credit to Jordan Pickford when credit's due. I've gone for a backline of Luca Dean, Mason Holgate, Yerry Mina and Jibril Sidibe. Carlo Ancelotti stating today that, as well as Richarlison and Gylfi Sigurdsson, who will miss the game, and Alex Iwobi, Michael Keane is set to face a late fitness test, so he may also miss tomorrow's game. Now, of course, he missed Saturday's game with a neck injury. We don't know whether he's going to be fit. If he is fit, I would assume he will come in, because Carlo Ancelotti's been talking for a couple of weeks now about giving Mason a little bit of a rest and taking him out the team, and how he values all three centre-backs at the same sort of level. But I'm going to assume that he's not fit. I'm going to fall on the negative sort of side of that, because it's Everton, isn't it, really? And do we ever get players back fit? Do players ever recover from injuries? So I've gone for a centre-back partnership of Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina, one that has worked fantastically so far this season. I thought Mason Holgate again on Saturday, another man of the match performance, such a fantastic mature performance by him, stepping into midfield, using his body, using his weight, using his sort of strength, and bullying past people, and that's exactly what we like to see out of Mason. Another fantastic performance by him on Saturday, and hopefully he can put in a similar performance tomorrow. Yerry Mina partners him, and I've gone for Jibril Sidibe on the right hand side. Didn't really have an awful lot to do against West Ham United. Again, didn't really break an awful lot down that right hand side. I think it was probably the quieter side all day, to be perfectly honest with you. But I think obviously he's the fitter of the two right backs, and he's probably the most likely to start. Going into midfield, this was a real tough decision. I've gone for Fabian Delph and Tom Davies. Now listen, obviously it's not ideal. We spoke on the game review yesterday of the West Ham game that we need more creativity in the centre of the midfield. Ultimately, the midfielders that we've currently got aren't good enough, especially if we're going to be wanting to break into that top six, or fighting for those European places. Even being in the Europa League, if we get in there through finishing 7th or 8th, we're still going to need better midfielders to be playing in that competition regularly and the Premier League. But in terms of the players that we've currently got to our disposal, in terms of fitness, realistically, currently we've only got Fabian Delph, Tom Davies and Morgan Schneiderlin who are fit. Obviously Gylfi Sigurdsson's still out injured, Alex Iwobi's still out injured, and we know Jean-Philippe Gbamin and Andre Gomez, although they're progressing in terms of getting back into Finch Farm. Gbamin is due to start training with the rest of the team, I think next week. Gomez obviously still on individual training. They're still obviously miles away from being back into the first team. So we've only got realistically three fit natural centre midfielders. Obviously you could push Mason Holgate into the centre of the midfield, but I don't think that's likely, especially whilst Michael Keane's still got a little bit of an injury, still a little bit of a knock. We're more likely to see Mason Holgate at the centre of defence, obviously, because we've got no other player to step into the centre of the defence if Mason isn't there and Michael Keane is injured. So it's one of those really where we're looking at it and we're saying, well, okay, maybe both midfielders weren't as good as they should be, or weren't, up to scratch on Saturday against West Ham, but we've got no other real choices to play them again. Yes, you could put Morgan Schneiderlin in there, I suppose, but again, I don't think he'd do anything more than what Tom Davies or Fabian Delph done on Saturday. I think both midfielders struggled on Saturday afternoon. I thought Fabian Delph improved in the second half. I thought he started to come into the game a little bit more. I thought he started to impress a little bit more into the second half. But overall for the game, I think I wasn't impressed with both of them. But like I said, we haven't got any choice really. Ideally, we'd have a creative midfielder in there. We'd have an Andre Gomez in there. But, we haven't got those options. So it realistically it's either Delph and Davies or Delph and Schneiderlin or Davies and Schneiderlin. And, I think out of the three that we've got fit, that's probably the best combination that we could come up with. I've gone for wingers Bernard and Anthony Gordon. Wasn't massively impressed with Bernard for the first half. On Saturday I thought he struggled. He didn't quite get his foot on the ball. He couldn't quite, get his head out of his feet. He couldn't use his skill. He couldn't use his ability to get past opposition players. That might just be an off day for Bernard. We don't see that regularly, do we? Usually he's quick to get the ball at his feet. He's quick to get he's quick to get it out of his feet as well. He's very, very skillful. He uses his pace. He uses his intelligence, and he usually does that really, really well against West Ham. He struggled on Saturday afternoon. Like I said, maybe it was just an off day for Bernard. I've gone for him again on the left-hand side, again, purely because, I think he's got the ability, he's got the quality. I was really, really impressed with his first half performance against Brighton, obviously, which was the last time we played the Goodison Park. And again, similar to the centre midfield situation and centre-back situation, really, we haven't really got anybody else to put out there. On the other side, I've gone for Anthony Gordon. Now, obviously, it was a toss-up between Anthony Gordon and Theo Walcott. Now, I don't know who Carlo Ancelotti will go with. I fear he might go with the experience in Theo Walcott, but I'd really, really love to see Anthony Gordon playing this game from the off, and I don't see a reason as to why Anthony Gordon shouldn't play from the off. Like I said, he was really, really impressive when he come on in the second half against West Ham United. He was getting his foot on the ball, he was using his body, he was using his strength, he was getting back, he was doing the defensive work that he needed to do. He was really, really good doing that. And when he was getting forward, he was knocking the ball past players. He had the intelligence to beat the likes of Pablo Zabaleta, who's been in the game for a number of years, won Premier League titles, won pretty much everything there is to win as a professional footballer. He was knocking it past him. He was able to tell, right, okay, this lad's not going to be able to keep up with my pace, so I'm going to knock it past them, and I'm either going to get past them and get the ball, or I'm going to win a foul. So I don't see a reason as to why Anthony Gordon shouldn't start. A real positive 45 minutes out of him on Saturday. He looked really, really fit, didn't seem to tire, he didn't seem to have any injuries, any sort of issues, and like I said, I think it'll be a real confidence boost for the lad if he gets the start tomorrow night. It'll be a massive confidence boost for the fans as well. We'll read the team sheet an hour before kick-off and I'll get massively excited because they'll see a name like Anthony Gordon on the team sheet, and I think it'll be a massive positive going into the game. Whereas if you put Theo Walcott in there, and Theo has another one of his trademark games where he just can't get the ball quite out of his feet, and his final ball's poor and his shooting's poor, then again Theo ends up coming off in the 50-60th minute and having not done much all game, and then coming off for an Anthony Gordon who then looks to spark the game up off the bench. Whereas I just think putting Anthony Gordon on from the start and seeing how he does for 50, 60, 70 minutes, and then if he doesn't impact the game and if he seems to be struggling, then take him off and bring a Theo Walcott on. I'd rather that than the other way round personally. And I've gone for the front two with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Moise Kean again, similar to to every other situation at the football club currently in terms of playing staff and personnel. Obviously, Richarlison's out injured. Richarlison's been the natural striker over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's still out and unavailable for tomorrow's game, as confirmed by Carlo Ancelotti in his press conference today. So I've gone for Dominic Calvert-Lewin up there with Moise Kean. I don't think, either of them had a fantastic game on Saturday. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was, quite frustrated with the service that he was getting. I seen him shout a couple of times at Theo Walcott. He wasn't really happy with how Theo was putting the balls into him. Obviously, he got his goal, which is fantastic for him. A real good striker's finish again. Very nearly got a second as well, which would have ultimately won us the game. A ball literally skimming his head by millimetres to go past him. So yeah, I think Dom, obviously, it was a little bit of a frustrating game for him, as was for every other player and every fan watching it. But obviously he's going to start tomorrow, isn't he? Inevitably, unless touch wood he doesn't, but unless there's some sort of fitness issue between now and the game. And I've gone for Moise Kean next to him. We all had our opinions on Moise Kean's performance. I think we're all of the opinion that he needs to get more game time, and we need to be a little bit more patient with him. And he is going to come good, but it's just going to take time. He's taking a little bit more time than we originally would have liked to acclimatise to the league and to acclimatise to the country, and that's completely fair enough. I don't think anybody should write him off. He's a young player with a lot of ability and with a lot of potential, but it's just taking him a little bit longer to get into the groove of things as to what we would have originally wanted or expected. But again, I think, playing from the off tomorrow, getting another 60, 70 minutes under your belt, I think it'll do him, more than good. And I don't think there's another option really, unless Carlo Ancelotti, dare I say, it goes with somebody like an Oumar Niasse from the start, in terms of maybe trying to put him in the shot window and giving him one last hurrah at Goodison Park. But I think if we're looking positively and we're looking to move forward as a football club, I think again, giving Moise Kean the start tomorrow, giving him a little bit more confidence and allowing him more game time to settle in and using the instructions that he'll have been given between Saturday and tomorrow to implement them on the pitch will be nothing more than a positive for him and for the rest of the team, I think. So that's my predicted starting 11. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. If you disagree with it, let me know why, and leave your predicted starting 11s in the description, in the comment section as well. If you agree with it, why did you agree with it as well? Let's get back into the live comments. Where are we? Wayne says going to be another close one. I agree, mate. Wayne says, good, thanks for asking. Wayne says, Moise to score. Come on, I hope so. Lego says, Lossell is starting in goal tomorrow. I don't think he is. I don't think he will be. Wayne says, getting worried, Wayne, at the lack of anything in the window. Let me know if you're getting worried of the lack of transfer business. At the minute, for me, I never really expect anything from January. Certainly since Marcel Brands has come in and stated about his dislike to the January transfer window and his dislike to do business. Listen, it's clear as day we need a lot of players and we need a lot of talent in this squad before we're anywhere near top 6, top 5 quality. But, I think we have to be aware that a lot of that business is going to be done in summer transfer windows rather than January. But it wouldn't hurt us to bring in, maybe a lad on loan in January, somebody to boost the squad, somebody to add something different going forward. But whether the club will do that or not, we'll have to wait and see. 1878 says, Delph can fuck off. Wayne says, yes, Cam, let Gordon get in there. Sacked Sean Borchert right off. Wayne says, what happened to us back in Ancelotti in the transfer window? I think it'll be more in the summer. Which guy says it'll happen in the summer. Wayne says, same, we're broke, same odd links, but no offers. Everton board loves to save money. Fair point. Wayne says, I know we need a midfielder so bad on a right wing would be nice, and a defender though now probably take a younger prospect centre back, meaning the Hoggate have been okay recently, just injury worries yet. Logo says, Ancelotti says he's not in signing anyone until we get I don't know what that means. Evertonian TV says, hi mate, 10 subs off 200 for me, great start of the year. Go and sub to Evertonian TV. There you go, 10 subscribers off 200. So if you haven't subscribed to him, go over, check his channel out. Boss videos over on his channel, so go and give them a subscribe as well. Mike says, can we afford to miss a transfer opportunity? The answer is no. So if someone's coming in this month, maybe on loan, but it needs to happen, Cam. I can't disagree with you, mate. I can't disagree with you. Raymond says, agreed, Mike. They need to get on. Logan says, what are your thoughts about Liverpool winning the league at Goodison, lads? It's horrible, but whatever. Whammy says, slap the like, people, support the channel. Thank you very much, Whammy. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream so far, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. 1878 ST says, hope minute silence for Emiliano Sala, death a year ago tomorrow. Rest in peace, mate. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we, the Premier League sides that do play tomorrow do a minute silence for obviously Sala. Absolute tragedy. A year ago today. it's crazy to think it was a year ago, wasn't it? It'll be interesting to see if that happens. You know, I think it will be a nice touch to do that. Wayne says they have already won the league. I agree, to be honest with you. Wayne says Wormsbury, yeah, a new squad, basically a young keeper to push Pickford. Freddie Woodman for me. Wayne says DCL Holgate England squad thoughts. Yeah, definitely. I think they more than deserve it, and I think they're more than good enough to get in it. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Mason Holgate are probably better than a lot of the players that will be in that England squad, to be perfectly honest with you. Logan says 9 games and it's there. It's at Goodison. It's done now, mate. It's already over. It's finished. And that's why I'm not worrying. It's literally, it's won now. Where he says, I'm not anti-Pickford like some, but I think he could use competition for his place. I assume that's what we got in Lazel. He might get a call, but would be at the bottom of the list, I would guess. I would guess that as well. And I agree. He does need competition. Every player needs competition. Even if you had Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo in your team, they need players to push them. You know, you'd only get the best out of your players if you've got somebody that's pushing them there. You know, any footballer will tell you that. You won't get the best out of a footballer unless there's somebody behind them that's pushing them for the place, because that's what gives them the motivation, that's what gives them the hunger to do better, and I agree. I just don't think we have that with Pickford at the minute. Wayne says being patient with Keane means just dropping points every week. Maybe, but realistically at the minute, until Richarlison, you know, becomes fit, who have we got to put in? Wayne says Moise Keane will be class, just need to help him out, getting the team, creating more chances, maybe going through the centre, which we never do, always to the wings and cross in. I agree, I actually really agree with that point. Lavert says change the subject, sorry, but do you or anyone have sympathy for the unfortunate Newcastle fan who was taking a lot of stick? I don't really know a lot about it, to be honest with you, mate. I haven't seen it. To be honest, I haven't seen it, so, you know, I can't really comment, unfortunately. Wayne says, I like your team, Gordon and Bernard excite me, exactly. Wayne says, that's a loaded question, Lavavid. Robert says, Gordon defo won't start. Maybe I'm being a little bit, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm asking for too much, but I would like to think Carlo Ancelotti has a similar mind frame as, you know, to what I've explained, even though I'm not in any way, shape or form saying I've got a similar mind frame to one of the best managers to ever grace the earth. Dosbig says missing Richarlison is a big blow for us, as much as he can be a bit hit and miss at times. He always puts in a shift for the team and he's massively important both offensively and defensively. Couldn't agree more, mate. Will says need a centre back immediately, centre mid immediately. I agree. William says I agree, but to be fair, I was feeling sorry for Richie. I think he needs a break. He does need a break, but it's unfortunate that the break has come through an injury, and that was always something that worried me, and I think worried a lot of Evertonians, is that, you know, with the amount of games that Richarlison was playing over the Christmas period and even up to now, similarly with Mason Holgate, similarly with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it was always a worry, is that are these players only going to get a break when they pick up an injury due to the amount that they've been playing, and that seems to be the issue with Richarlison. Hopefully it doesn't happen with, you know, any of the other players, especially the likes of Holgate and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who've been fantastic recently. MDZ says show us that new tattoo. I wasn't going to, but if you insist, I will. It's a tiger face, if you can see, on the side of my arm, and the eyes are actually blue. If you can't make that out, there you go. The eyes are like bluey colour, faded blue. I think it's a nice touch. There you go. Let me know your thoughts on the tattoo if you want. Bit irrelevant, but let me know. Gaz says, where do you watch the games that are on TV? You don't go to the highlights, mate. Tony says, injuries are giving the young players of the future much needed playing time. Good, positive way of looking at it, I suppose. Wayne says, Sims, at least he'll score. More natural than Keane. I think he maybe still is a little bit too young though, potentially. Maybe he'd be a player that, you know, Carlo Ancelotti might look to introduce next year, or at the earliest, I'd probably say the back end of this year. I think he still is a little bit too young at the minute. Nish says, what have we seriously seen Moise Keane to get excited? Genuinely, fair point. I mean, I suppose nothing really at Everton at the minute, you know, only really the stuff at Juventus. But, you know, I suppose, we know what he's capable of. We've just got to have to back him, haven't we? Wayne says, hit the like. Yeah, if you could hit the like button, it'd mean a massive amount to me. Robert says, why do you think Bernard was taken off on Saturday? Looks like he was arguing with Carlos on the touchline. Maybe he wasn't happy with it, but listen, I think Bernard's performance on Saturday was poor, and I like the decision by Carlo Ancelotti. I think it's ballsy. I think, you know, it shows that Carlo Ancelotti isn't scared to take an important player off if they're not having a good game, and that's what he done. He brought Anthony Gordon off, and I thought Anthony Gordon had a better 45 minutes than what Bernard initially did, so I've got no issue with that. Logan says, I think 3 decent centre-back forwards and 2 centre midfielders, we can get top 4 easily. Everyone a losing. You know, potentially, but it's a lot of players. Tony says, do you notice how smarter Ancelotti is compared to Marco Silva? Of course. Lava says, a player celebrating accidentally knocked the cornerflag into the crown jewels. He did. Oh yeah, I don't think the lad should be getting any stick. I've seen the video. It's a little bit harsh. I don't see why he's getting any stick. I just don't understand social media for you, innit? 1878 ST says, from Bell to that lad, where'd you get it? Got it at Blueprint Tattoo Studios in Walton Village in Liverpool. Tom Kelly was the lad of the tattooist that done it. I think it's Tom Kelly Tattoo on Instagram. So, if you look him up, you'll be able to find his work there. William says, nice tattoo, nice dude, thank you very much. Tony says, nice tattoo. Thank you very much, Tony. Wayne says, I had the target. Bet you've been riding that song before you got out on Friday. Wayne says, when are we getting the Wednesday night chat with Cam? It'll be next Wednesday, so not this Wednesday, because this Wednesday will be the review of the Newcastle game, which hopefully is a positive one. It'll be the Wednesday after, so a week on Wednesday, we'll have that. Jess says, hopefully next Wednesday, yes. Wayne says, go Rocky. Christian says, Everton Newcastle. Wayne says, hey Jess. And Christian says, Newcastle 2-1. I hope not, mate. I hope not. We've got to go in with a positive mindset. And like I said, there is a big opportunity for us to get back to winning ways. Newcastle had a big win against Chelsea, obviously, at the weekend. A game in which they weren't really on top of. They were battling, they were struggling. But that's one thing they were. They didn't have an awful lot of possession. They arguably weren't the better team on the day. But one thing they didn't stop doing was battling, fighting, getting themselves back into it, winning the ball back. And ultimately, they worked their absolute bollocks off until the last 30 seconds when they ultimately got the winner. That's all that matters at the end of the day, isn't it? They come away with the 3 points, and that was a massive 3 points for the Newcastle team that, again, similarly to Everton, are building the table and trying to get as many points on the board as possible. A good draw against Wolves, the time before that as well. So it's a big game for both sides tomorrow, and it's a big game for Everton. I think Everton need to go out there and we need to, stamp our foot down and say, okay, we've had a poor start of the season, and whereas at the start of the season we might have said we aim to be, the best of the rest in terms of, your Wolveses, and Leicester were even in that argument at the start of the season. Yes, we're not at that level now, but we need to definitely be stamping our foot as to say we're better than the teams that are around us, and I don't see why we can't go out there and get the 3 points tomorrow. For me, nothing less than the 3 points is acceptable, and hopefully, we can go out there and we can do that, and we need to do that. We need to get back to winning ways. It was a disappointing draw on Saturday. It was a disappointing result. It wasn't the best performance. It was frustrating, so we need to go out there and put in a really good performance and get a good win tomorrow night. Where he says, well played, Case. Have you signed a striker that can shoot? Go 3 points. Everton, Christian says, he says, ultimately Pickford is not good enough for where Everton want to be. Doesn't it make sense to sell him now while he is somehow England's number one? Maybe. I suppose I see where you're coming from. But would have to bring in a keeper to replace him, I suppose, before we can look at that. And Sabrina says, good to see Sigurdsson out. Well, yeah, it's never good to see a player injured, is it? Let's be honest. I'd rather Gylfi Sigurdsson be out the team because Carlo Ancelotti's not picking him because his performances haven't been good enough, rather than through an injury. And Mike says, are you thinking of doing a live commentary on some games, Cam? Maybe it's something I'll look at doing in the future. It's definitely a plan for the future, but not quite yet. But it's definitely something I'll look at doing, like I said, in the future. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe as well. Don't forget to join us straight after the game tomorrow for the instant match reaction. I'll be heading home straight away and doing the instant match reaction. Hopefully it's a positive one. Hopefully we're talking about another Everton win, climbing the table more and more and getting those points on the board. Let me know your thoughts on today's preview. Let me know your thoughts on my predicted start 11 as well. Do you think Anthony Gordon's in with a shout of starting tomorrow's game? Do you think Moise Keane will get another opportunity as well? Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. If you're watching live, big thanks for getting involved in the live comments as per usual. If you're watching as a YouTube video, please do leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below, and I'll try and get involved with as many of them as possible. Once again, a big thanks for watching. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed today's live stream, and subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. It only takes a second. We'll be live on Wednesday night for the live game review to this game, obviously at 5:30 PM, but of course we'll have the instant match reaction tomorrow night. Somebody says, would get Mariano as a backup striker for the rest of the season. Wouldn't mind him. Tony says Pope will challenge Pickford for the number 1 spot. I'd love Nick Pope at Everton. Whammy says no, Mike, but there's an open draft format to see him coming. Yes. Wayne says easy peeps, have a good one. Thank you very much, you too. Wayne says respect, have a good one. Even in Blues up to toffee, spot on mate. Wayne says come on you Blues 3-1 Everton, I hope so. Lennon says hi mate, I'm so late but I'm definitely going to watch the rest, and also up to Everton toffees. Thank you very much Lennon, sorry about that, you just missed it, but thank you very much for getting involved either way. Anyway, that's going to do it today. A big thanks for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed the stream, and subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. It only takes a second. Dosbig says have a good evening everyone. Thank you very much, you too mate. See you soon. soon for the instant match reaction tomorrow night, like I said, of course, straight after the game. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.